Welcome to the Self-Discovery Files, a place for reflection, challenge, and becoming who you're meant to be. I'm your host, Dylan Phipps. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at @TheDylanPhipps for more daily insights. Enjoy. Welcome to the Self-Discovery Files. This is where we find out what it really means to build yourself from the inside out. And I've had a lot of people in my comment sections. I've had DMs from people asking me to start a podcast to be able to go deeper into some of the topics that I've previously discussed and fit more than what fits in a 60-second or a couple-minute video on TikTok. So this isn't going to be some perfect motivational polished thing. It's just going to be honest thoughts, lessons, reflections in real time. And this is the kind of stuff that, I wish someone would have told me sooner. So for episode 1, let's talk about something that changed everything for me, and that is self-trust. Not motivation, not confidence, not mindset, not self-trust, because I've learned that when you can't rely on your own word, everything else falls apart. Okay, and I didn't really realize how deep this went until I looked at my own life and saw all the places where I would say that I would do something, that I'd say I'd complete something, and never actually followed through with it. Okay. This is about becoming the kind of person that you can trust, because it's a big part of accomplishing things that you want in life. Now, in my case, there was plenty of times growing up into high school and even after that I would have big aspirations and have big ambitions. I wanted to achieve high goals that I had set for myself. And so I would tell myself that I was going to do something. And it's easy to do this. It's easy to tell yourself, I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to start tracking my macros. I'm going to read every day. I'm going to journal every week. It's so easy to tell yourself these things, but it's very hard unless you've built trust in yourself to follow through on them. So I would go through and I would tell myself in these moments, all right, I'm going to wake up at 4 in the morning and I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to start tracking my macros on MyFitnessPal. And then when the moment came for me to actually do that, it was not even a thought in my mind. I just kind of stepped over it. I just kind of brushed over it. It's not that I deliberately chose to not take action, because that's a weak mental state. But it's the fact that it didn't even come to my head. That's when I realized that I didn't take myself seriously, that I don't take myself seriously. And that hit hard, because if I don't take me seriously, why would anybody else? And so it started showing up in the gym first. I've always been a very active person, played sports all my life, and so this has kind of been a concrete area for me throughout my whole athletic career and even into now when I go to the gym. The gym used to be one of the places that I could rely on myself, especially going into high school, wanting to get stronger and developing. But I started skipping and procrastinating, filling that space with things that looked like productivity but weren't. I was escaping what I said I would do to do things that didn't necessarily benefit me in the way that I know that I should have been. And when you do that long enough, you start to feel a hole. Not just in your schedule that you've been avoiding the thing that you need to do, but in your self-image. And so you don't just stop trusting yourself. It's not just like a cutoff. you stop believing that your word matters. And you start brushing over everything that you say. And that's disheartening because you can't trust anybody else if you can't even trust yourself. And if you can't trust yourself, why should anybody else trust your word? You become skeptical of your own promises. You say that you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes a joke. And I love that everybody, you know how everybody talks about discipline and consistency like they're motivational traits, right? People love to, and I heard this a lot from mentors and coaches that talked about discipline and consistency like it was a motivational trait, and they talked about it in a motivational tone. I don't really agree with that. I think that those traits are a lot deeper than that. It's more rooted in your character. Your word is supposed to be your bond. And when your word doesn't mean anything, you start to lose respect for yourself. And without self-respect, you can't build anything. Not businesses, not relationships, not confidence, not friendships with other people. Without self-respect, other people will not respect you either. And as a man, that is one of the most important things to have. As a human being, one of the most important things is to keep your word. To become a respected and trusted person, keeping your word is one of the most important things that you can do. Of course, to other people, but to yourself as well. And that's the part that people forget. So here's what I had to ask myself. What good is your word if you can't even rely on it? And I think that I had reached a point where I was done pretending and done faking it. I was done telling people I was doing things that I wasn't doing. I was done saying I wanted to be great, but living like it was optional. I was done keeping fake promises to myself that I didn't end up actually following through on. And then that switch happened when I started taking myself seriously again. I stopped making big promises that I couldn't keep. Okay? Often we like to tell ourselves that we're going to do large scale action. And we're going to take massive action in order to achieve massive results. But that inherently puts yourself at a disadvantage because that seems overbearing. See, if you try to complete too much and set a goal that's too high for yourself, you're going to feel demotivated and it's going to feel overwhelming to the point where you're not going to want to take action. So I stopped making big promises that I couldn't keep because I was a victim of doing that to myself. But instead, I focused on small wins. The ones that felt so simple that they were almost embarrassing to even say it, right? Wake up when I said I would. Make my bed. Brush my teeth. Get ready in the morning. Show up to the gym even when I didn't want to, right? Drink a glass of water in the morning. Finish the one thing before starting 5. And that's when I learned your word is all that you have as a man. It's the foundation of trust, respect, and groundedness. And when people say to be a man of your word, it's not about honor. It's about self-alignment. Your actions have to match your mouth. I guarantee you know a person that has a horrible word, that is not a man of their word, and that their actions do not match anything that they say. People kind of write them off. I know I've known a couple of people in my life that just kind of spout off and you kind of treat their words as such. So if you're listening to this and you feel like you can't rely on yourself, start small. Don't don't go try to rebuild everything overnight, okay? Pick one thing, pick one promise that you can make today. Specifically, I used to get up and make my bed. Right? One thing that I think of even now to this day is finish the act of sleeping. Okay? We always make our bed in the morning. Little things. Get up in the morning, drink a glass of water. When you're cooking, clean up. Right? Finish the act of cooking. Right? Tell yourself in your head, I'm going to make my bed, or I'm going to go walk for 10 minutes, or I'm going to spend 20 minutes focused on one thing with no phone, and then follow through on it. That's how you start stacking self-trust, one brick at a time. Okay? Self-trust develops slowly, as do a lot of other traits. That's how you start stacking self-trust, okay? One brick at a time. Keep that up for a week and then add another. Okay, the power isn't in what you do, okay? It's not in making your bed or getting up when you say you're going to get up, or going for a walk, or spending 20 minutes focused with no distractions, no phone. It's who you become when you follow through. And here's the truth. When you learn to trust yourself, you'll stop chasing discipline. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing people to tell you who you are because you already know who you are. Chasing validation and chasing discipline only pushes it farther away. But if you can take accountability and take responsibility into your own hands, into creating that for yourself, you'll finally develop the version of yourself that you can trust, and you'll become the kind of person that you can trust. So if this helped you, sit with it for a minute. Okay, don't go do something else. Go listen to another podcast. Ask yourself, do I keep my word to myself? Because that's where your confidence begins. Thanks for listening to the Self-Discovery Files. My name's Dylan Phipps. Keep showing up for yourself, stay grounded, stay curious, and keep becoming who you're meant to be.